Hi everyone, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. Today's video is going to be my TBR for Contemporary-A-Thon, and I am just loving readathons, and they're new to me. This whole world is new to me, but I love the idea of sort of focusing on, something in particular, whether it was the buzzword or Cloak and Dagger and now contemporaries, and just reading books in that genre or that idea or that concept for the week or the month or whatever it is. I'm loving it. So this is round 4 of Contemporary-A-Thon, and if it's new to you, no worries, it was new to me too. And this was started by Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, Julie from Pages and Pens, Natasha from My Reading is Odd, and then they added a 4th person this year, which is Melanie from Mel to the Any, and they are this year's hosts. So I will link all of their kind of announcement channel videos down below. And this runs from February 11th to February 17th, and the whole idea is that you spend an entire week reading contemporary books. So this one, this readathon has 7 challenges to it, and then I think they're also going to do like maybe Twitter challenges or Instagram challenges. So if you're not a booktuber, you can do things on Instagram, and this one seems more heavily involved than like Buzzword-a-thon was, so you can sort of participate in all the extra stuff if you want. You can participate in as little as you want, but anyway, I'm super excited about it. So let's just talk about all the challenges. The first challenge is to read your most recently acquired novel. And this could be a physical book, it could be an ebook, it could be an audiobook. And for this one, for now, I'm going with Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Hunneman. So I got this at Christmas. I'm very excited about this book. I hear nothing but great things about it, and I for sure want to read it. And I'm thinking this is like a perfect opportunity to do it. So for me, this is my only book in the challenge number 1 category. The second challenge is the color challenge, and that's to read a book with blurple on the cover, which is a combo of blue and purple, or blue or purple, or some version of blue and purple, kind of the have fun with it and do your best. So I have 2 books for this category, and I'm not sure what direction I'm going in. The first one is Frederick Bachman's Us Against You, and I've talked about this a bunch of times already, more than I probably should have for a book I haven't read yet. But this is the sequel to Beartown, which I finished in January and loved. So I'm very excited to dive back in with these characters, and obviously Contemporary-A-Thon is a great time to do it, and the color's perfect. So this is my first choice. And then my second choice is a book that I picked up last year in kind of a book buying spree, and it's Not That I Could Tell by Jessica Strouser. And I've seen Jessica Strouser at a ton of Writer's Digest conferences, and she used to be the editor for Writer's Digest. This is actually her second book, and this is about, I want to say it's like 5 moms who are kind of like, neighbors and in the mom club and, really good friends, and then one of them goes missing. And you get into the backstory of all the moms and what happened, and it sounds like a little Leanne Moriarty-ish. So I'm curious. I love the cover. I think it's beautiful. It's blurple. So we'll see if I'm feeling like revisiting old friends or maybe making some new ones. The third challenge is to read a diverse contemporary, and I have both of Celeste Ng's books, which I really want to read, and I just haven't read them yet. So the first one is Little Fires Everywhere, which ironically is her second book, and the second one is her first book, Everything I Never Told You. So both of these are interesting stories to me. It's obviously why I picked them up. Depending on how the week is going, this appeals to me a little bit more because it's smaller, which always feels like cheating, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm interested to read both these stories, so I have these 2. And then on my library list, I have My Sister is a Serial Killer, which I recently just heard about from a few people's channels, and I'm hearing really great reviews on it. And the second one is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And I think because the movie is pretty new, I don't know if it's on DVD now or if it's on demand, it was out in theaters. I feel like the book is even harder to get, so it should be coming back to my library next week. So I have that on my list also. So trying to keep myself with a lot of options on this one too. The next prompt is to read a dark or taboo contemporary, and I again have 2 books for this one depending on my library. And the first one is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. This is a YA book, and I don't know the characters' names, but kind of what I know about the book, other than the fact that so many people rave about how well done it is it's about brother and sister twins, teenage twins, and the boy is accused of raping the girl's best friend. And, you know, for all the obvious reasons, this sounds like a very heavy book. This sounds like a very emotional book. My understanding is it's very well written. The subject matter, well, very difficult, obviously, is also well done, well handled, well written. Like I said, I've heard a lot about this book. It's popped up on a lot of people's lists, and I'm curious to read it. So that's the first book, depending on if I can get it. Then the second book I have is Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Kempness. And this is the sequel to You, which I read last fall. I've talked about it before on this channel. I immediately picked up this book when I found out that there was a sequel to it, but then it's kind of like with Beartown. I needed to take a little bit of time after I finished You to kind of process it, and, you know, I didn't want to jump straight into the next story, but now I feel like I'm ready for it, partially because I've watched the Lifetime / now on Netflix series of it, and I know there's going to be a season 2. I think season 2 is maybe going to take some components from Hidden Bodies, but I know it's the sequel. I haven't read too much about it, but given how dark, like deep, dark, no stars that You was, I'm expecting this to be super dark also. But I love it. I can't wait to see Joe again. The next challenge is to read a book that you meant to read in 2018, but you didn't. So Hidden Bodies is one of those books. So if I do wind up reading this, this could sort of double down in multiple categories. And then the second book that I picked is The Flight Attendant. And this is by Chris, I can't say his last name. I tried last time. Bahalain? It's probably 100% wrong also. This is a thriller, unreliable narrator. This woman, Cassie, is the flight attendant. She basically drinks, blacks out, you know, all that good stuff that we come to know and love in unreliable narrator books. And she wakes up next to the body of the man she spent the night with, except he's dead, and she doesn't know how or why or if she did it. So I picked this up last summer. I had every intention of reading it. I obviously never did because it's on this list. So here we go. This is maybe a book I'll read this time around. The sixth challenge is to read a book in a non-traditional format. So do an ebook, do a graphic novel, something like that. And for this one, I picked Emily Giffen's First Comes Love. So this is the only book by her that I haven't read, and I don't even know what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's about two sisters. I can get the audiobook through my library, and I think I'm going to do it that way. I had talked about this, I think like in my December wrap up. I had sort of taken a break from Emily Giffen because one of her books just didn't sit well with me, but I have since gone back. So this is the last book on the list of hers that I haven't read and that I want to read. I've always enjoyed her writing, except for one. And I'm very curious about this one, and I do like myself a sister book. So this is my one to plan to do on ebook. The last challenge is to read a book with a picture on the spine. And the only book that I own that I picked that has a picture on the spine is The Flight Attendant. So we'll see if I wind up reading this one or not. And then, like I said, I've got a couple books on my list for the library. So maybe, hopefully, one of those will have a picture on the spine and I can double down on one of those as well. But I love that. And it's funny, I was looking through my shelf and it's one of those things where I think like, my God, I must have books with pictures on the spine, but I really don't. And, you know, I love me a spine and I love me a cover. And it's funny how you start to look at books a little bit differently when you get these challenges. And I like the idea of kind of scavenger hunting your shelf for something. So, you know, Flight Attendant's the only one I have right now, but hopefully one of those library books will also have a little spine picture going on. So that's what I have so far for my Contemporary-A-Thon TBR. I will never say never. And, you know, maybe I'll add another book to this list. Maybe I'll stumble upon something else when I'm browsing in the library or when I'm browsing my own bookshelf. But for now, these are the books I've pulled out. I don't intend to read every single one of them. Like, I don't think I'm going to read 7 different books. I'm for sure going to try and double down in some categories and just, you know, do my best, but I'm really loving readathons. Like I said, I'm loving focusing on a certain topic or genre or word and, you know, getting some books that fit into that and, you know, getting more involved into the community. And this is the first time I'm really gonna have like Instagram challenges and things like that, so hopefully I'll do well kind of through and through. But Contemporary-A-Thon sounds like a lot of fun. Let me know if you guys are participating, what you're reading, if you've read any of the books that I've picked, and if there's one that you would sort of say, like, for sure read this one in that category. I love hearing people's opinions and reviews on books, but hopefully other people out there are going to be checking out Contemporary-A-Thon and participating. I will link the videos, like I said, of all of the hosts down below and all the details. I'll list out the challenges too, so you've got them all. But let me know if you're doing it. Thanks for hanging out and listening to what I'm going to get up to during Contemporary-A-Thon, and then I will for sure do a wrap up on how it goes in some format or another. But I will see you then. I will see you before then in other videos. Thank you guys for checking out the video, hanging out, doing all that good stuff, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye, everybody.